I really don't know what is wrong with all these bird watchers. I just had like 3 hours of sleep after I traveled at least 8 hours to get to my next destination. And yeah, we are about to get ready, or I am ready indeed, as agreed, to go for a snowy cotinga, which is of course a lovely bird with a lovely sound, but actually too early.
And as you can see, you see not much because we're in the car. It's not even that late. I mean, it's late already. It's almost 6 o'clock. Yeah, it should be a good light already for the birds and all the birds to appear. But you might hear something, and that's just a little bit of rain. Actually, it continued to rain for at least the last hour, which is a good sign, because if it rains here, it might rain the whole day, which is lovely. Do you think we are on the right day?
No, I don't think so.
Have you chosen this fabulous weather?
No, I didn't choose.
Oh man!
It will rain all day.
So this morning I'm with my friend Arnoldo. He was a really great bird photographer as well. And as you can see, you see nothing. Just a little bit of rain. Not much today. We might get a little bit of luck because we picked up a magical person which is sitting in the back. I thought you're very talented, you're very magical, so you make the rain go away.
The rain.
Introduce yourself, what's your name?
My name is Jorge.
Okay, like everyone here. Juan, Jorge, Juan Pablo. Okay, so you will help us to find some good birds?
Yes.
We're going to Rancho Wendy in Guatuso.
Okay, and is that private reserve?
Yes.
Ah,
Yes.
okay.
We're going to have breakfast there.
Ah, and we're breakfasting with the birds maybe as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
That's a good idea. Nice bumpy road.
Yes.
Stop raining. You can only see it because it's still on the road, but it stopped. One thing for sure, if we go birding, we first have to breakfast.
No birds, but good breakfast.
Yeah. Un desayuno para mí, vegetariana. And we are now at Wendy's. Wendy's, solo Wendy's. And aquí es, ¿qué lugar?
Guayabo, Guatuso.
That the sound of the male?
It's supposed to be black hawk eagle.
Black hawk eagle, wow. That's something for me. Ah. So we got the female already of the snowy cotinga, which is great.
It's great.
Bird watching and photographing birds in Costa Rica is extremely popular. And as usual, certain birding friends also share their rare findings and locations amongst each other. The snowy cotinga here is indeed such a bird. This is a female, but we hope to find the more interesting male, which is one of the 2 white cotinga species. They are found at the Caribbean slopes of northwest Honduras, south to extreme West Panama, and are generally an uncommon species, also called range-restricted species. They mainly feed on fruits. This one is spitting out a little seed. They in particularly like lauraceae fruits and mistletoes and figs, which they pluck from the trees when perched or on a brief flight sally. Snowy cotinga individuals wander widely, perhaps in response to food availability. And here we have the northern tropical pewee, one of the tyrant flycatchers. Not such a stunner as well, but a perfect target to film just right next to me. I'm filming it observing possible prey, which, as the name already says, are often flies, but also other little flying insects. They live at forest edges and cultivated areas with tall trees, and the sexes look similar. In breeding season, they defend aggressively their nests, even against much larger birds like the great Gillicuddy. The Rhizophorus is the only subspecies which is found in Costa Rica, and it's only found in the Guanacaste region. They're usually found alone or in pairs. The black-cowled oriole was an oriole I've never seen before. Locating and clicking an oriole in Europe leaves most of the bird photographers really frustrated, since Eurasian golden orioles are often perching too far high up in the trees. But here, the orioles simply come to feed us. Maybe it's the bananas we are missing in Europe to put out for them in our gardens then. And it got company by a fulvous vented euphonia. This oriole belongs to the nominate species, which is found in the Caribbean lowlands of Costa Rica and some of its neighboring countries. They mainly feed on insects and other arthropods, fruits and nectar, and as usual, they don't like to share their food.
My first time I filmed a tiger heron, and it was sitting on a tree with a nice bromeliad, giving a beautiful frame for photography as well. And the films I made about it I will show you now.
The bare-throated tiger heron lives in a huge range, from Mexico throughout Central America to extreme northwest Colombia and a small population in northwest Peru. These herons are mainly found in coastal zones of salt or brackish waters, especially mangroves, but also sweetwater habitats like this one here. And after it has been barking a bit just like a dog, it's slowly wagging its tail like one. Funny thing, never seen this with a bird. Bare-throated tiger herons are generally found feeding alone on fish, frogs, crustaceans, insects and small rodents, and are solitary breeders as well. They might breed in Costa Rica year-round and lay 2 to 3 green-tinged eggs, which they lay in a small flattish stick platform that they have built in a tree. And what comes out of these eggs eventually gave them their name. Here is a juvenile bare-throated tiger heron with its more camouflaging ground color in being a little bit more mottled or barred in appearance. This distinctive call you can often hear when traveling on Costa Rica's countrysides. This is the very common roadside hawk, which genus comprises at least 12 subspecies, and 2 of them are found here in Costa Rica. Here in northwest Costa Rica we find the subspecies Grisio, which is quite common in most lowland tropical and subtropical habitats. It's often an urban bird and rather avoiding dense rainforests. This quite vocal raptor is an opportunistic feeder that preys mainly on insects, but also spiders and reptiles, small birds, and indeed also young marmosets or other small monkeys. It's the most common hawk throughout its large range, and humans better stay away from their nests, like from other bird nests as well, of course. These hawks have been recorded attacking humans passing near their nests.
And right behind me I just filmed the groove-billed anis. That is really amazing because it's not such an uncommon bird, but I've never filmed them before in a close distance. Enjoy!
Take a look at how graceful these birds are. These anis are opening their wings like butterflies to the sun to dry them after the rain and scratching and preening out the moisture from their feathers. Anis are tropical birds which belong to the cuckoo family and are found in open to partly open habitats within a huge range, from south of Texas throughout Central America to northern Chile and occasionally some adjacent countries. Often living in small groups of 1 to 5 breeding pairs, and several females lay their eggs in the same nest. Interestingly, all group members incubate and take care of the young. But 50% of their broods are destroyed by predators, which there is many for this species. In general, only one young bird per female will make it eventually to adulthood.
We were very lucky. All the time we were here it didn't rain, and we got at least 3 trogons from 2 or 3 meters away. I will show you later. And we've been searching for a puffbird. It's very little, most probably as big as a little spotted woodpecker in Europe, and it's like. And it did sit up in the tree, but it didn't go away because we've been calling it. It's the first puffbird I've seen, which is great. I will enjoy my peeper.
This little pied puffbird perched too high up in the tree, and it was not the easiest to focus on against the bright sky. It seemed to be a very territorial bird, responding to our speaker's call all the time, but it surely preferred its height. These puffbirds are found in Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Colombia and Ecuador and measure roughly 15 centimeters in total. They mainly live in tropical humid lowland evergreen forests, forest edges, clearings, and stream sides and secondary growth habitats, and their diet is poorly known, but in any case consists of insects as well. And here comes the streak-headed wood creeper, so lovely, but so hard to film. And as some of you might know, almost nothing can beat the beauty of Trogons for me. Here at Wendy's we could film 3 of these stunning black-headed Trogons. Males and females look very similar, but first here we have a female watching us. Females also have a yellow chest, but their yellow is duller and their overall appearance is more slaty grey above. With Trogons, often both sexes call in response of each other or intruders to their territory. And here comes the more colorful male. Unmistakably by its blue-green sheen on its nape, back and wings, and its bright yellow underparts. They eat fruits and insects, which they often take by flight sallies, and are usually seen in pairs and are described as being quite tame, often perching low. They excavate their nests in a boreal active termite nest, often 5 to 8 meters high, where they lay 2 to 3 eggs. These trogons are found in Belize, Costa Rica, Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico and Nicaragua, and live in tropical and subtropical dry or moist lowland forests and heavily degraded former forests, such as this one here. The red-winged blackbird is a widespread bird which counts amongst the most studied birds in the world. However, most of you, like me, might have even never seen these noisy active birds before. The male with its name-giving red wings is perched on top of the reed and the female below. Here in northwest Costa Rica and El Salvador we find the subspecies greenelly. They mainly feed on seeds and insects and other arthropods. Some wintering flocks can exceed 250 million in peak years. It might even be the most abundant living land bird. By some farmers, they are seen as their crop pests in winter, when it's taking seeds and grain from open fields and agricultural areas. Farmers have been known to use insecticides such as parathion, which has been widely used for many years, highly toxic to birds, to control their populations. We said goodbye to the Wendy's family and are heading out to our next destination in La Fortuna. Rural places like Rancho Wendy's you rather don't find as a traveling tourist. You find your luck here only if you are well connected with local birders, and my friend Arnoldo here was really miraculous in showing me all these wonderful birds. Here comes the not uncommon but secretive chiricoco, which is mostly seen by quickly crossing roads or watched in a garden from a window. There's 9 subspecies of this grey-necked wood rail, with the nominate form found here in Costa Rica, and they are mainly foraging near water bodies for food. In some places they are unfortunately occasionally hunted by humans and kept for food. The next birds we came along were these golden olive woodpeckers. Here you see the male on the upper branch with its scarlet-red mother stripe and the parted female below. There are not less than 18 subspecies described of this woodpecker, and the Yucatanensis is the one here, found from southern Mexico south to West Panama. These woodpeckers occur in a wide range of habitats and normally prey on ants, termites, beetles and their larvae, and rarely eat fruits and berries. Generally, they are observed singly or with their partners. And some birds seem to be fully weatherproof, like this green kingfisher, which I filmed from our open car window. The raindrops sprinkled off from it just like from a thick plastic sheet. I felt so sorry for this bird, but eventually this is nature and they are well adapted to the habitats. This kingfisher belongs to the subspecies Septentrionalis, which is found from south-central Texas south to Colombia and west Venezuela. You often find them close to streams in forests or mangroves, where they prey on small fish, crustaceans, prawn and aquatic insects. And it rained even harder. But this kingfisher continued to make sally flights and attempt to catch prey. common for kingfishers, their nest is also in a horizontal tunnel in a riverbank, which is excavated by both partners and can be 1 meter long. Usually 5 eggs are laid and both parents share incubating the eggs and feeding the young.
We are in Fortuna downtown.
But La Fortuna is also a volcano, right?
Yes, Arenal volcano.
Okay.
Hey, tranquilo, vaya. Extrañamente, mi hermano. Venga, para darle la mano, eso sí. This is the... Mr.
Hola, buenos días. Buenos días.
Giovanni, buenos días. Giovanni, Mr. Giovanni.
Giovanni.
Welcome.
What you got? Which bird are you calling?
Woodpecker.
Ah. Is this feeding station here always so busy?
Yes, parece rana, ¿no?
So it's really good birding spot. Wow. I'm a little bit overwhelmed. I don't know where to look because it's full of birds. Honestly, I have seen feeders already in Costa Rica and Guatemala and so many places, but this is unexpected. This is really unexpected. You come from busy road and you end up in a bird paradise.
Yeah,
At the moment,
we
200
are
birds?
in the center of the Fortuna. Right in the center of the Fortuna.
I'm still a little bit speechless, and I have no idea on which bird to focus. They're all nice. Lots of them I have already photographed, but we might expect some woodpeckers to appear. And this is woodpeckers we might find here is which types?
We can find here the golden winged woodpecker and
Golden
picolet.
wings.
Picolet.
Okay. Which picolet?
Picolet. That's all.
Olivaceous pickle.
Olivaceous.
Oh, the olivaceous.
Olivaceous.
Ah, okay, right.
And rufous winged.
Rufous wing.
Ah, the rufous wing, yeah.
Right.
Wow. I'm so stunned by all the colors that I'm seeing here. And I've seen which crake did we already film?
We already filmed the white-throated crake.
Yeah, the white-throated crake, which is most probably one of the more easier or the easiest spot in Costa Rica to
Yes.
see it at all, because it's very little, estimate like this size. I will show you soon. And what these guys don't understand, but that's me, and that was always me. I was so far most interested about the chachalacas that have been here. If you have no idea about birds even, you will fall in love if you sit here and you just watch, just nothing else. Don't even need binoculars, because they are like 3 meters away, and if you're more lucky they even sit here, there or anywhere. This is a great thing. So it's all this whole thing is financed by this
The
man.
people that come here give some tips to him
okay, that's how it works.
for the fruits.
Yeah, but
and
he's buying the
make
fruit, or the people buying the fruit as well?
No, he buys the fruit. Okay.
Yeah.
And
So-
remember, it's a Bogarin Trail, right in the center of La Fortuna.
Yeah. One Chachalaca coming there, great.
Okay, let me tell you then about the Chachalacas. They belong to the Crassidae family, which combine the large curassows, juans, and these more commonly seen, or rather heard, Chachalacas. These are species of tropical and subtropical Central and South America, and especially the curassows are often called the pheasants of Latin America, since there is no native pheasants here. I like their size and their look, and they indeed do remind me a bit of my chicken. But these here, of course, are more agile. Here in La Fortuna we find the gray-headed chachalacas, which occur in a large range from Honduras to Nicaragua and Costa Rica, as well as Panama and Colombia, and they are common throughout most of their range. This is a juvenile. fresh papaya shake for you. In Costa Rica occur two similar Chachalaca species. The other one is the plain Chachalaca. They are best distinguished by comparing their tail tip feathers, which color is rufous with gray-brown and white in the plain Chachalacas. Plain Chachalacas also lack the rufous in the wing primary feathers. They are very social birds and often seen in family groups of 6 to 12 birds. These roughly 50 centimeter long birds like to eat fruits like guavas and guara, berries and spikes of the guaramo trees and leaves, and sometimes insects as well, and often walk along branches in search for food.
Arnoldo, who has created this bird paradise?
His name is Giovanni. Giovanni.
The one we just met?
Yes.
Ah,
Yes, and there is a lot of trails here.
it's all made by him.
Yes.
So he bought this piece of land.
No, he's like the manager.
Ah,
He's just work here.
but is a governmental property here or privately owned?
Private. This is private. This is the last name of the owner is Bogarin. Bogarin. It's known like a Bogarin trail. But this Giovanni is the one that made everything.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. Giovanni has years working here, doing this.
Some of the thrushes fighting. And this is a very great spot to see which species exactamente?
Which ones?
Well, which are rarer, let's say.
Crimson Tanager,
Crimson Tanager,
Golden Hooded
Tanager.
Uniform cray is very hard to find also.
Here another film of the crazy little feeding station, from left to right staring the clay-colored thrush, which is a national bird of Costa Rica, and on top of the papaya the tropical mockingbird, and the underside is a palm tanager, and to the right a lady of a scarlet-rumped or cherries tanager, which subspecies in any case is called passerini. And a male passerini is just joining in as well. Another set, we additionally see gray saltators, and the main actor in the center of the papaya, claiming it for himself, is a crimson-colored tanager male. But the smaller passerini is taking over, followed by the red-legged honeycreeper male. What a feast!
Once again, what I already said in Pachamama, not all is yet lost. So if we want to protect the nature and get the nature back when forests are cut and whatever we have done with construction work, there is space for nature, we can get it back. We just have to create a little paradise like this. It is well appreciated by lots of wildlife, and it's in the middle of the city, so wow, I'm very happy to see this. So guys, one more reason to come to Costa Rica, enjoy something like this, or think about ideas like this for your own garden or for your own city. This is more than enjoyable, even if you have no clue about birds. But wow,
It is.
wow.
This is really bird heaven, and it's actually to thank to you, Giovanni. So you are working here since 4 years or even longer?
No, I have been working here since 2000.
Okay.
I started the project in 2000.
Already 17 years.
Yeah.
Wow. So what have you all done here? You have created a little pool.
Well, actually, I borrowed this property from somebody.
Oh, you borrowed it?
It's not my property.
Okay, okay.
This belongs to another family. But I've been helping a little bit the environment, trying to plant some trees and development on the way to. This was a wetland, and I just trying to build a trail for handicap.
Oh, okay, nice.
That's the main idea, build a handicap trail. I work in this idea for 16 years already, so it's like 60 acres downtown.
Oh, that's quite large.
Yeah, but it belongs to a Costa Rica family. They've been preserving land here.
Oh, that's nice.
We also planted trees for the birds, and actually for the sloths as well. So this is a trail for everybody, for the animals and for people who like nature.
Yes.
So they can come and enjoy, see all these beautiful toucans, sloths, frogs.
And amazingly as it is, access is for all free. Free for all. But means the whole thing here also costs a fortune. How many papayas and bananas and I don't know what else are you feeding a day?
Well, that's a secret. There's banana plantations around here, and we plant bananas. We grow papayas in the area. So we pick the ones that get damaged,
Yeah.
and we cut put on the birds so the birds can eat it. So it's very simple.
We are with the very nice Costa Rican weather again. As you can hear, it's starting to rain. Wow, it's a massive rain, and I'm glad that we didn't walk one of the trails. We'll do it soon, but at the moment it's just wet, raining cats and dogs. Getting a little less, but the sky is still very dark. But we are wet, it's still warm here, but the birds eventually took some little bit of shelter. What can the people do that come here to actually support your work? Can they also bring fruits, or is it recommended that they leave you some tip, or what would be a good idea?
We're trying to keep a balance of how many people come on the trail, because if we bring too many people on the trail, we want people, but we want to keep a balance because too many people, we mess the trail. We damage the trail. So
yeah, that's true.
The idea is to have a balance that people call and say, we want to go tomorrow.
Okay, so it's a little bit organized.
Yeah, so it's not like, I don't want the people to feel like this is too greedy, but I don't want the people to see we don't need help. We need help in economic way and volunteers.
Nature conservation areas always need help, right?
With our balance.
Yes.
And we might need a little help. We have a little bit of contamination in the area because the rain brings garbage from the road.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we pick the garbage like the heavy rain, the flash flood. That bring the rain here, and bring the garbage, and that make a mess for our trail. Sometimes we have to bring pick the garbage back. Normally we're trying to keep it clean.
The collared aracaris do not mind the rain at all. Now they had all the delicious papayas for themselves. These are the aracaris which I've seen most of all the toucans on my travels to Latin America. They're often seen in small flocks of 6 to 15 birds. And they do something pretty unusual for toucans and even roosting socially throughout the year, with up to 6 adults have been seen in the same sleeping hole with tails folded over their backs. They're primarily boreal fruit eaters, but do also take insects and lizards, bird eggs and nestlings and other small prey.
It's still a secret how much fruits are fed here, but it's so much papaya and bananas as I most probably could eat in a month, what they most probably feed here a day.
Well, normally the birds and the nature, they eat papaya and bananas.
Yeah.
So it is not a damage to feed the birds.
Yeah.
Because we produce it on the same farm. There are papayas and bananas. So we just put it here to attract all the birds together to make movies. But people think we damage them when we feed the birds. But I think most people in this country, also they damage putting animals in nets. They damage...
and parrots in cages.
Yeah, and we don't like that. The birds and the animals here are free. We don't have nets or cages.
That's true.
So that's a little better.
They just eat the fruit which is already growing in Costa
Yeah,
Rica.
we don't. I'm against the people have animals in cages.
Absolutely.
I think
Me too.
big companies should don't support the people.
Yeah.
Except for the animals they get and hurts, you know?
Yeah.
And they need a doctor and need a rescue. And,
yeah, of course.
In some cases, I think people keep it in cages just be a little commercial. So I don't like that way.
No, me neither. It's almost heartbreaking for me if I see this.
Yeah, the animals here are all free, so we don't have animals.
So you have a lot of sloths as well?
Yeah, I count about 20.
20?
Babies. This year I see a couple babies.
Oh, nice.
The two species, the 2-finger and 3-finger.
Oh, how interesting.
1 Costa Rica second.
it. The toucan's coming right now, I think.
Why are they always coming with a special time? Because after the rain?
Well, I'm training them.
You're training them. All right.
Training for the tourists.
Yeah, of course.
We fix everything here. It's a fake.
It's a fake. It's a zoo parakeet show. All right. This is how you train the toucans?
I show them. Come and look at me eating.
Look, it's so delicious, huh?
Indeed, the toucans came. What a show. But it was real. Giovanni and his magical papayas did the job. Now I'm filming the near-threatened yellow-throated toucans for you, one out of the 6 Costa Rican toucan species. And in Costa Rica it's represented by the subspecies swainsonii. There is surprisingly much info about these toucans to read, and there is a connection between these toucans and the collared aracaris, which, well, the nests of the collared aracaris are frequently plundered by these yellow-throated toucans, and sometimes they even hunt together with their partners. In general, these toucans are opportunistic generalists which do favor fruit, but occasionally prey on insects, snakes, lizards, rodents, and also eggs, nestlings, and even incubating birds. It's the main seed disperser of the Myristica sebifera, which is a nutmeg tree, used as a remedy of great antiseptic powers in homeopathic medicine. 45% of the fruits eaten from these trees are eaten and dispersed by these toucans. These toucans live in many different forest types and are mainly seen singly or pairs, but occasionally in small groups as well. But if a good fruiting tree has lots of ripe fruit, groups of up to 20 birds can be seen. But these toucans have enemies too, and that's us. They are still regularly hunted by indigenous people for food, who consider their meat as very tasty. They are attracted by fluting, and in a survey, in one village, as much as 57 of these toucans were hunted in 2 weeks alone. How sad. I definitely prefer them watching alive, eating papayas rather.
And I will of course show you the video I made about the white-throated crake. Now, have a look.
Filming rails and crakes, let alone seeing them, is a difficult task. Zooming in with my film camera lens is nearly impossible, and so here what you got is some shaky results. These rails are generally connected to wet habitats as high as 1,600 meters, and they're not globally threatened, but very difficult to see. So their status is unclear. So what a luck for us to see them. The subspecies we find of this white-throated crake here is the albigularis, which is found at the Pacific lowlands of southwest Costa Rica, and their sexes look alike. Their food consists of insects and spiders, grass seeds and sedges, algae and some fruits, and they are regular visitors of the Bogarin feeding station. This is a male black-cheeked woodpecker, which lives in a huge range and is fairly common throughout it. It's the woodpecker species you can expect to see at Costa Rican feeding stations. But this doesn't suit the orange-chinned parakeets at all. This is another woodpecker, the olivaceous picolet. Picolets are a distinctive subfamily of small woodpeckers. It's a very active male, which is yet again recognized by its red forehead feathers. There are 6 subspecies of them, and the Flabotinctus is the one found here in Costa Rica, as well as Panama and northwest Colombia. Often they forage in family or mixed species groups in dense undergrowth. Primarily for ants and termites in the larvae and pupae, but also beetles and other invertebrates. There's lots of different wood creepers here in Costa Rica. This one here is the cocoa wood creeper. On our way to La Fortuna, I have already filmed these golden olive woodpeckers for you, but here's a better close-up of the female, lacking the red on her mala stripe and forehead, and a short video of the male with its scarlet red mala stripes and crown feathers. And this rufous-winged woodpecker is the one my guys try to attract all the time. It's shyer, and we found it eventually on the forest trail. The main difference between this male and the golden olive ones is the predominantly more scarlet red on its head and the lacking white on its face, as well as the broader bearing of their underparts. It occurs from East Honduras south to West Panama and is mainly found in moisture forests and mountain slopes up to 750 meters. The rufous-tailed jacama is my last bird for you today. It's the jacama species I've seen a lot on my trips to Latin America. It's indeed the most common jacama species found in Costa Rica. It occurs from Mexico south to the West Andes of Colombia and Ecuador and lives in a wide variety of habitats. I'm filming here a female for you, which is best distinguished from its male by its buff throat feathers and paler underparts, whereas the male has a white throat. They are mainly insectivorous and commonly prey on social wasp Angelaria vicina. Biologists have found out that they distinguish between edible and palatable butterflies mainly according to body shape. Like kingfishers, they might lay their eggs in a burrow or a termite mound.
Look
Okay,
there,
okay.
because you are talking to the world,
Oh, okay.
and the world is watching you. What
All
you
right.
are saying.
The main idea is for keep a balance on the environment and preserve the animals without damage them. So basically, it's not about money. Actually, not really. But we appreciate.
I'm wearing the right shoes, by the way. Very nice, huh? I'm very well prepared today, but doesn't matter. It's nice, it's warm, it's the tropics, and who cares?